your third year here, and you've always been a great group, and that's tremendous. And you've always done everything we asked you to, but this year you took it to a new level, and Andrew and Pastor Chris and Tim all preached a message from, at the Kids Club. We preached 5 messages Monday through Friday, and I preached 2 of them, I do Monday and Friday. Normally Eric and I do all the preaching for groups like this, and that's fine, we love to do it. But for Pastor Chris to say to me a few months ago, no, we'll take 3 of them, our guys will take it, that was a real joy, that was really cool.
My favorite part of the week was probably the kids clubs. I just really like working with kids, and it was just a cool opportunity to see some kids that I saw last year and some kids that were new this year, and just to see all their different personalities and all the different ways that they learn, and just seeing God working in them and being able to work with them. It was a lot of fun.
My favorite part of the week was the kids club and just seeing how God worked through the kids club, because Monday and Tuesday there weren't that many kids, and we prayed Wednesday morning just for God to bring the kids. And there were a lot of kids, and they were attentive, and it was just cool to see God working in that, because there were kids that were there in the past 2 years, but also there were kids that were brand new, and it was just cool to see how God was using the kids club for new kids.
I guess what God taught me this week was to kind of step outside my comfort zone a little bit and not be afraid to just go up to someone like, hey, you need Jesus, take a track, not force people like that, but I don't know, just be a bit more brave, I guess. I feel like he gave me the courage I needed to go out and really speak to people and tell them the good news.
I'm more of a people person, and the people in Boston, they were really interesting. A lot of them hand out tracts. Some of them would kind of give you a rude look, but others, they were completely opposite. They would take one, they'd thank you, they give you a hug for all the work you're doing, especially people that were already Christians, and you were trying to give them a tract, they'd thank you, sometimes they'd even take one, hand them out to other people. So that was probably my favorite part of the week.
Because the last 2 years I was on the Boston trip, I had conversations with people, but it wasn't conversations that I started. It was always people who started talking to me what is this or whatever. But this year, I think it was while Mark was preaching one of his messages, and directly after, one person went away, and I was hesitant to do so, but it was really scary for me. But I just walked up to him and been hi, I'm with the guy over there. What do you think about the message? And at first, the guy was mad at me. Because he stayed for the whole message, but he did not like what we were doing. And so I think he said he was Islamic. And I asked him, well, what don't you like about what we're doing? And he's like, because you're coming out here and just trying to force people to convert. And I'm like, actually, that's not what we're doing. We're not actually not doing that. You're Islamic, but don't you want people to believe in your religion too? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that's what we're not out here to force people into converting. We're here to share our belief, and whether or not people believe it's completely their choice. And that was just really cool, because it was definitely a scary moment for me, but God gave me the courage to just talk.
Something God taught me this week was that people are more willing to talk about spiritual things than we think they are. I feel like God is sometimes a taboo subject, people don't want to talk about religion or anything like that, but really no one asks them, and that's why people don't talk about it. So just really asking those tough questions, and more people are willing to answer them than we think. You just have to ask. I saw God working in Gregory's life a lot this week, and it was really cool being on a mission trip with a family member. I've never done that before. But I loved watching him hand out tracts and pray with people, and just really be a really important part of this team.
I think my favorite part of the week was, so the first 2 days of the week, in our kids club, we didn't have as many kids as we wanted, and they weren't very attentive. We'd have maybe 4 that stuck around for the lesson, but so on Wednesday morning, we spent a ton of time in prayer, and just praising God for all His goodness. And that day, not only in the kids club, but in like the evangelism on the street and at Hampton, everybody was just, it seemed like we had greater success handing out tracts. And then at the kids club, there was like 20 kids, and they were all attentive and they were all participating, and it was just amazing to see God work in that area.
I know my favorite conversation was 3 different times actually with a man named Keith, and when he was homeless, he was living on the streets. He was trying to wean himself off alcohol and cigarettes, which isn't easy for anyone to do, let alone someone who's homeless and lives alone. And so it was just interesting to see the conversation I had with him. And I remember the second day I met him, he recognized me and he saw me first, and he came right up to me and he was so upset, and he said, "Andrew, I relapsed." And I just sat there and prayed with him, and then we talked for a little bit and let him get off to his thing. And it was just really cool to see that someone I'd never met before, I met the day before, and they were really like into me, and I was into helping them and everything. So yeah.
Something God taught me this week was just, I think for me it was just about an eternal perspective, when you're talking with people, just seeing things from the perspective that it's, that there is an eternity, and that they do have a soul, and when we're ministering to other people, it's not just about the here and now. I think too often, one thing that I've done is, when talking to other people, just thinking in terms of the world. And I think what Chris and Mark and Eric do really well is they really see things from the eternal perspective, and saying that this isn't all there is. And because of that, we can go out more boldly, and kind of having that attitude that it doesn't matter what people think of me now, because there's an eternal reward, and there is something after this life.
In the evening when my bones are tired, you're my strength and my heart's desire.